The Lavender Witch and the Captain. A beautiful lavender witch named Kelvin floated in the silent dark of space. She was unconscious, a storm of purple light called the Amethyst Nebula pulling her closer and closer. Powerful bolts of lightning flashed around her, striking her still form. On the bridge of his mega-colossal starship, the Dominion, Captain David stared at a blank scanner screen. "Where is she?" he whispered, his voice tight with worry. The ship's main power core was down, and he was helpless. Furious and afraid, David left the bridge. He ran through the long, gleaming corridors of his ship, his heart pounding with every step. He had to get to the docking bay. He had to do something. In the docking bay, he found Kelvin, a lavender warlock in elegant robes. "Don't go in there, David," Kelvin warned, his voice grave. "Our own ship barely handled the nebula's power. Yours won't survive." "My Kelvin, my love, is out there," David replied, his voice shaking. "I am going to get her." Standing nearby, a beautiful starship captain named Davina stepped forward. "Okay, David," she said. "We're coming with you." David ran inside his cobalt blue Stalker battlecruiser. Davina and Kelvin followed right behind him. Davina added, "Maybe my husband can locate her with his lavender magic." The battlecruiser shot out of the docking bay at full speed, a blue streak against the black of space. David pointed the ship's nose directly at the swirling, violent heart of the Amethyst Nebula. The ship's scanners were useless in the storm. "I will find her," Kelvin said. He closed his eyes and reached out with his mind, searching the vast emptiness of space with his powerful magic. "I see her," Kelvin cried out. On the main view screen, an image appeared. It was Kelvin, still unconscious, being bombarded by bolts of extreme electrical energy. David saw her and cried out in anguish. David sped up, pushing the small ship to its limits as he dodged the lightning. But a massive bolt slammed into the cruiser. Consoles blew up in a shower of sparks, and all power died, plunging them into darkness. The ship was powerless, adrift in the storm. "Don't worry," Kelvin said, his voice calm in the dark. He stood and raised his hands, and a shimmering lavender bubble surrounded the ship, protecting it from the lightning. "I will get her." Kelvin grabbed his magical lavender mop from a holder on the wall. The airlock door hissed open, and he flew out into the raging nebula, using the mop to guide him through the electrical storm toward Kelvin. He reached Kelvin's side and shot a magical lavender rope from his hand. It wrapped around Kelvin, and instantly, her eyes flew open. She was awake, charged with lavender magic. Suddenly, even more bolts of lightning, larger than before, struck them both at the same time. Kelvin and Kelvin screamed in pain, their bodies caught in the raw, untamed power of the nebula. Inside the powerless ship, David and Davina watched the terrible scene unfold on the view screen. They looked on in horror, tears streaming down their faces as they saw their friends in agony. Still screaming, Kelvin began to change. The electrical energy transformed his elegant lavender robes into posh, elegant yellow robes, crackling with electric power. At the same time, Kelvin's elegant lavender mini dress was also transforming. The electrical power turned it into a beautiful, revealing yellow micro dress, with matching heels and a stylish hat, all pulsating with golden light. They were no longer a lavender witch and warlock. They were now an electric witch and warlock. They held hands, and the pain was gone. Instead of being hurt by the lightning, they began to absorb its immense power. Back on the cruiser, David and Davina worked together, their hands flying across the damaged consoles. With a final spark and a hum, they repaired the ship's power core. The lights flickered back on. They looked at the view screen and saw something impossible. The entire, massive Amethyst Nebula was being pulled from space, swirling like water down a drain into the two small figures of Kelvin and Kelvin. With a final, colossal electrical explosion, the nebula vanished. Kelvin and Kelvin absorbed the massive blast, glowing brighter than a star for a moment. And then, space was quiet and dark once more. The silence was broken by the arrival of the colossal Dominion. David expertly docked his small cruiser inside its massive docking bay. A moment later, Kelvin and Kelvin flew in and landed softly on their mop. Kelvin ran from the mop straight into David's arms. He caught her and they embraced, sharing a passionate kiss, holding each other tightly, safe at last. At the same time, Kelvin ran to Davina. They met in a warm, heartfelt hug, both of them smiling with relief and happiness to be safe and together again. Later, in the Dominion's advanced pub, the four friends celebrated. They raised their glasses, laughing and sharing stories, finally able to relax after a very long, very hard day.